Action. Right lads, welcome back to another video, and this one is obviously going to be a player ratings video. It's the third one in the space of 10 days I believe it is, something like that anyway. It's an interesting one because it's obviously our third one in the bounce and we're starting to get a lot of positive results, and there isn't really no reason to be negative at all. There is obviously wee niggles here and there that we could improve on, but overall in the last 3 games, absolutely fantastic for us. So as usual, we'll start off with the goalie, and that was Ryan Scully of course. He's done fantastically well since coming into the club. That's now his 4th clean sheet in 5 games at the club, and the only one that he didn't keep a clean sheet in was against Ross County, and obviously they look like the league winners. So it's been an impressive start for him and the full defence really, and the full team of course, but Ryan Scully's obviously the man between the sticks. Despite the fact that yesterday Partick Thistle barely tested him, Partick had a lot of set pieces and Scully dealt with them well. So I'm going to give him the kind of solid rating of an average 7. Good game, nothing spectacular though. Next up is Ryan Williamson. He's obviously came into the starting 11 since Jackson Longridge got injured. Yesterday I felt a wee bit let down in his performance. He was good-ish in spells and then not so much in others. We all know the potential that's there for him, and he could really go on and progress his career considering he's had Scotland call-ups. He's got over 100 appearances for Dunfermline. He's had a load of assists despite not being fantastic in some seasons like this season. But I'm going to give him a rating based on last night's performance, and that's going to be a 6.5 because I just think, as I said, we just need to see a bit more for Ryan Williamson, and just hopefully he can gain a bit more confidence in the coming weeks if he can stay in the starting 11. Moving on to the captain, Lee Ashcroft. Obviously in the last 2 videos where I've done player ratings, both the centre halves have got the same rating. This is the first video where one of the centre halves is going to get a better rating than the other, and that doesn't necessarily mean that one was tremendously better than the other, just one did just enough to get the 1 mark more. This time it's Lee Ashcroft getting a 8 from me, and I think that's just mainly down to the fact that he did have a good game, and again another clean sheet. He's done really well since Callum Davidson's came in, so for this game Lee Ashcroft's going to get an 8. And then as I said, this is going to be the first time that the defensive partnership, the central defensive partnership, is going to get different ratings, and as you can maybe tell, Danny Devine is going to get a higher rating than Lee Ashcroft this time because I just think that he's improved massively. I say Lee Ashcroft's improved massively, but Danny Devine, he's went a level up I think, and I mean, incoming mistake for a goal against Good of the South on Saturday, but overall I just think Danny Devine has been a fantastic player since, as I said, Callum Davidson's came in. That Wraith Rovers away game where he let the ball bounce and then they went through and scored, he's a completely different type of defender even now, and that's only what, a month later, and it just shows the impact that someone like Callum Davidson has coming in, as well as Greg Shields as well, because obviously Greg Shields was a very good defender himself. I mean, we scored through 2 corners, but centre halves coming up and scoring like that for a corner kick, we never get that at Dunfermline, and it was just fantastic to see him really going in for it and attacking balls from corner kicks, set pieces and stuff like that. And he had a fantastic defensive display as well, as I've said. So Danny Devine gets a 9, and he's probably my man of the match. Moving on to Mr. Versatile and a guy that you can't not love at the moment, James CRAIGEN. Played a shift at left back again last night due to Jackson Longridge's injury. Played at Ayr of course, and he did play reasonably well, but last night he was just fantastic. He got an assist at left back, which for a player that doesn't play on the left hand side usually, especially on the defensive side of it of course, he just had a fantastic performance. And as I said, Partick didn't have much attacking threat, so he wasn't really tested much in that regard, but in terms of attacking and just being put in a position that he'll probably never have played in his life before until just at the weekend there, it's fantastic to see that he just puts in performance after performance and doesn't complain, doesn't put in half shifts or anything like that. He just gets on with it, and it just proves what a model professional he is. And I honestly really hope we can keep him on for next season, because he's just a fantastic player to have in the squad. A player that's that versatile Managers love that. And me, I love it as well. I'm going to give him a 9, and he's very close to running Danny Devine for man of the match, but I'm just going to pip it to Danny Devine. But James CRAIGEN, a fantastic game overall. Moving on to one of the first inclusions into the lineup last night, and that's KALLUM HIGGINBOTHAM. Now, he's a very frustrating player this season, I think. He's not contributed anywhere near enough that I would have expected him to this season, and I think it was very similar to that last night. He was touching here and there and trying to pull off things and stuff like that. Nothing really came off, and there wasn't really any massive contributions by him to get a goal or anything like that. And it's just quite frustrating to watch that right hand side last night, because I just think him along with Ryan Williamson, we've seen their link up last season and we know how potent it can be, and I just think they're not performing to the levels that they once were. KALLUM HIGGINBOTHAM is a good player at this level, and I think he should be performing to a better standard on a more consistent basis. But he's going to get a 6.5 for last night's performance. Moving on to the midfield two, that I'm going to kind of just cover very quickly, because they both had kind of similar performances, and one of them's just going to get a slightly better rating than the other. First up, Tom BEADLING, going to get a 7. Mopped up the midfield well and just did a decent enough job in there, and didn't have a hell of a lot to do. I think that Tom BEADLING kind of dealt with the rest of the sort of midfield duties well, and deserved a solid rating of 7. And I'm just going to add a 0.5 onto the end of Joe Thompson's rating, because I think that overall he just does that work ethic, and he'll always have that. I think that's a fantastic attribute for him to have going on in his career, and especially for us at Dunfermline, we can massively benefit off having that in the team, because he just runs his socks off. The type of work ethic he has, as I just said, gets him the extra 0.5 ahead of Tom BEADLING. Next up is Ryan BLAIR, and when I was talking about KALLUM HIGGINBOTHAM not really actually contributing stuff to the game overall and over the course of the season, hasn't really either. I think Ryan BLAIR's contributed a lot more in the space of what, 3 or 4 games than KALLUM HIGGINBOTHAM probably has in the last 4 or 5 months, and that might be very harsh, but the stats don't really lie. It was an assist last night for Ryan BLAIR, and obviously he delivered the first corner kick before it was tapped down to Bruce Anderson. In general, his set piece delivery is far improved from anything we've had all season, and that's a real kind of positive point for us, because it meant that Danny Devine could come onto that header last night and slam it in the top corner. And recently in the season, we've just not had that type of delivery for players to come and attack. So on that basis, Ryan BLAIR, massive improvement to the team, and along with the other signing, Bruce Anderson, it's just been a fantastic January acquisition, so I'm going to give him an 8. And now moving on to the front two, and first up, the second inclusion to the starting 11 last night, LONGRIDGE. I think he had a decent enough game, and if that touch to Bruce Anderson in the first half where Bruce hit it just past the post, if that had been an assist, he would have easily been getting maybe an 8 in this rating video, but he's going to get a 7 just because I think he did have a solid game, didn't really input a lot into the performance as a whole, but you can see what he brings to the team, and you can see what we've missed in the last 4 months that he's been out injured. He just adds that extra wee bit of technical quality to the team on the ball and off the ball as well, with his positional movement and stuff, so he's going to get a solid rating of 7 for last night. And moving on to your man, Bruce! He's going to get a rating of 9 for last night. I just think that overall he's been a fantastic signing as well, as I mentioned with Ryan BLAIR. Those two fantastic signings, and getting a double last night, Bruce Anderson, a fantastic poacher type player, and reminiscent of the type of role that Nicky Clark used to play for us. And God forbid I mention that name, some people won't enjoy that in the comments, but he is that type of player, and it's really good that we've got that type of player back in the squad, because they're the types of players that get you the goals that drive you on in the league. And for last night's performance, he gets a 9 and is in the running for man of the match, but Danny Devine gets it for me. And that's it for this video, guys. Cheers for watching. Please leave your ratings for players below. As I said, I've done these quite a few times now and nobody's really left ratings for players, so if you could do that, then please do. But if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. As I said, comment down below your ratings and subscribe for more of this type of content. And until the next video, which will be a video tomorrow about the whole Brendan Rodgers leaving Celtic, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.